Hey everybody, this is Dave. I've been wanting to make this video for a little while. This is my signature Mini Thunderbird Hughes bass guitar. And right after I joined the Artemis Powell band in 2015, I think it was, 2016, I can't even remember my years anymore, but Randy Hughes, a longtime buddy of mine that I have known since I was a kid, since I started playing, who is a wonderful guitar player in his own right. He and his son have been building guitars and doing guitar repairs back home in Asheville, North Carolina. He had approached me about building a bass. At this point, he had not built a bass yet. So he wanted to build one around what I needed and wanted, which meant a lot to me because there's a lot of guys he could have built a bass for other than me, but he picked me, and I'm glad he did. And I can't really take credit for the Mini Thunderbird thing because honestly that idea came from my really good friend Gene Fox. We had talked about it multiple times about a Mini Thunderbird because the Thunderbirds typically that are built by Gibson are big and bulky. They always sound great, but they're just big and bulky. And of course this one's neck heavy because it's a Thunderbird. There's just, because of the way the body is designed, there's just no way that it can't be neck heavy because it's so long out here. But Randy and Will Hughes, his son, built this for me, and it's really an amazing instrument. I mean, everything on it, when you see it in person, it's stunning. And you'll be seeing some pictures as I'm talking here. Randy, we really went over a lot of things that I've wanted in this. One is the beveled edges, which you'll see in some of the photos. I kind of wanted that because I think that just looks cool and it's a little more comfortable to play. This tip here on the end, if you can see that, I always liked that. I always saw that on the old Kramer basses and on Alembics, and I just thought that was always so cool. So he did that for me. I had him install Dunlop recessed strap locks. Anybody that knows me knows that's my strap lock of choice because it's I think a 1/4 inch stainless steel sleeve, I think, that goes in the bass. It will never strip out. The wood will have to break and break your bass for your straps to come undone, unless it breaks on your strap, of course. But and I always liked the old vintage looking tobacco sunburst finish, and Will Hughes really nailed this thing. I mean, this was the first one out of the gate, and it really came out good. It weighs like less than 8 pounds. At the time, I was playing a 59 custom shop Fender Precision with Artemis Powell, and I got to where, even though I have small hands, I got to where I liked the chunkiness of that neck, and I favored that P bass greatly at the time. So I asked Will, I said, well, man, you know, can you measure this neck and duplicate it for the Thunderbird? He said he could, and boy, he did. He really nailed it. The action on this thing is really low. Ebony board. I love ebony fingerboards. So it's an ebony board, mother of pearl inlay. The body is mahogany. The top is maple, quilt maple. I bought the Fowler tuners on it and the Omega bass bridge from All Parts in Houston, Texas. And let's see, it's a passive bass. It's got double P's in it. I originally put EMG Geezer Butlers in it, and they worked great. I love EMG. I've been with them for so many years. But I started having a problem live because I was playing my Yamaha Attitude Billy Sheehan basses. And then when I'd switch, I'd start out with the Yamaha, then I would switch either to my Skinner Tribute bass that I built or this one. And I had EMGs in both those basses, but DiMarzio's in the Yamahas. So the sound difference was quite drastic for me in my in-ears. I had to do a lot of adjusting, which you just don't have time to do during a show. And the sound man noticed a distinct difference. He was just really liking the sound of the Yamaha for the Leonard Skinner music. Didn't have anything to do with EMG not being a great pickup. They are a fantastic pickup. But I remember Billy Sheehan telling me one time that, hey, when you're playing live, you need as few variables as possible, because you just don't have time to make adjustments and do all this stuff when you're playing a show. And he's absolutely right. So what I did, Billy's new pickups are the new Relentless DiMarzios. And Billy connected me with Larry DiMarzio, and he was very kind. He sent these out for me. And I replaced the EMGs with the DiMarzios and both my other basses for the Artemis Pile Band thing. It just works better for me. It's they're really loud and gnarly, and they just work for that kind of music. By the way, this is a 5-piece neck. It's Wenge, maple, and mahogany. And the neck joint, one of the most impressive things about this bass, if you can see the neck joint, how clean and it's really secure. The neck joint in a bass is everything, because it's got to be stable or it won't work, especially when you're traveling and going through different climates and humidity and just everything. It can move around. So the neck joint is really crucial to a good solid bass joined together. So you see it's 6-bolt. Will and Randy really outdid themselves on this bass. I'm so lucky to have it and thrilled to have it. You can order you one. We'll put up the website here, and you can contact Will and Randy Hughes in North Carolina. But every one of these there are not any of them sitting around. When you order one, they'll be building it from scratch. And I think they're available in this, and we might make them in one other color, maybe white. I don't know. I hadn't really said anything to Will about that yet. And I believe this is nitrocellulose finish, I believe. But anyway, you can hear how this thing sounds. It's really quite amazing. It's even, and it works really good for the Skinner thing. That's both pickups in the middle, and this is just the front one. And then the back one is good for the Jocko sounding. So you get some good tone variations out of it. It is passive. It don't need a battery. I'm really proud of this bass, and I will forever be grateful to Randy and Will for building it for me. I play it live a lot. I've managed at this point to keep it in pretty good shape. But if you like it, please inquire with Randy and Will and order you one. And I appreciate you watching the video, and thanks to my brother Jonathan for making this for me. Have a good evening.